Hello, recapers! Today's movie starts with a beautiful woman who can have any man she wants. But when she gives in to temptation and falls in love with both her brother and his best friend, she doesn't realize what she has until it's too late. In 1950s Naples, Italy, a commander gives his future goddaughter a carriage from Versailles so she can dream of faraway places. Her young brother Raimondo admires it, but their father, Sassa di Sangro, thinks it's too much. The commander insists that, as her godfather, he only wants the best for the children. Later, Maggie gives birth to a baby girl in the sea while her family watches. The commander names her after an ancient Greek city near Dango's home, inspired by a mythical siren who took her own life after failing to seduce Odysseus. Years pass, and Sandrino, Raimondo's best friend and the gardener's son, watches as Parthenope, now grown, emerges from the sea. He is captivated by her beauty. While sunbathing, she tells him her family is in the heart of Naples, meaning they have the house to themselves. She leads him to her room and lies naked inside the carriage. He asks to join her, but she refuses, only allowing him to look at her body. As Sandrino walks around the bed, admiring her, she enjoys his attention. Later, he asks her to be his girlfriend, but she declines, saying the future is bigger than both of them. When he asks what she is thinking, she does not answer. During college admissions, Parthenope impresses Professor Devoto Marotta by staying calm despite his tough questions. Meanwhile, at home, Raimondo refuses to take over his godfather's shipping company when their father retires. He wants to work as a crew member and sail to the Baltic Sea, believing he can never be happy in Naples, even though it is the most beautiful place in the world. One evening, the family gathers on the patio. Parthenope reads a book by John Cheever and praises her anthropology professor. Her father, feeling hopeless, says that everything seems beautiful when you are young, but life becomes dull with age. Just then, Raimondo burns his lip on hot food. Parthenope gently kisses him to ease his pain. Their mother, Maggie, notices something unusual about their closeness but says nothing. Later, Raimondo catches Sandrino sniffing Parthenope's underwear and realizes they both love her. That afternoon, he goes out to sea, staring blankly before letting himself sink into the water. His family watches in fear from the patio. When he resurfaces, his father tells Parthenope that her brother is fragile, just like him. In 1973, Raimondo tells his family he is going to Capri to meet a woman named Alba Nardella. Jealous of his new love interest, Parthenope storms off. That night, the siblings cuddle closely inside the Versailles carriage. At sunrise, Raimondo asks her to sail with him and Sandrino and to give in to temptation while they are still young. They almost kiss, but Parthenope stops herself and jumps into the sea. Eventually, the three of them go to a hotel in Capri, living out their fantasy. As Parthenope and Sandrino plan their night together, she gets distracted by John Cheever. He comments on their bold hopefulness. Intrigued, she asks him to invite her out. At a cafe, a casting agent named Lydia Roca notices her beauty and gives her the phone number of Naples' best acting coach. After Lydia leaves, the writer drunkenly talks about love's uncertainty and how it makes life unbearable. When he stumbles, Parthenope helps him to his room, which is covered with unfinished manuscripts. She reads one about failed relationships and begins to cry. She then asks to fall in love with him, but he gently rejects her, hinting that he is only interested in men. However, he acknowledges her beauty and tells her that, like war, it will open doors for her. After he falls asleep, Parthenope looks at herself in the mirror and starts to understand the power of her beauty. That evening at the bar, Raimondo and Sandrino witness Parthenope talking to a wealthy man. Spitefully, Raimondo makes advances on Alba Nardella. When the couples cross paths while headed in opposite directions, the siblings glare at each other. Once alone with her date, Parthenope realizes she doesn't want to sleep with him and refuses to kiss him. Disappointed by her rejection, he insults her intelligence and calls her ordinary, but she smiles, faintly amused by his childish reaction. She leaves the affluent guest and encounters the American, who apologizes for his earlier demeanor. When they finally introduce themselves, the woman is shocked to find out he's John Cheever and exclaims that she has read all his books. Parthenope wonders if she can join her favorite author for a walk, but he politely declines, saying he doesn't want to steal her youth. Meanwhile, her brother stops Alba from removing her dress and asks if they can talk, because he can't bring himself to be intimate with her. Later, Sandrino admits to Raimondo that he's in love with his sister. His buddy warns him that she doesn't share his feelings and that she's always running away. The men are heartbroken when they see her with someone else. However, Parthenope soon invites Sandrino to dance, while a tragic love song plays ominously in the background. Raimondo eventually joins the couple and briefly sways to the sad music until he's left alone with his sister. His best friend then takes a snapshot of their special moment and rejoins them before leaving together. By sunrise, Raimondo is devastated to witness Parthenope and Sandrino kissing passionately by the beach. Overwhelmed with jealousy, he sits on the rail at the hill's edge, shifting dangerously forward and backward. Staring at the sky in despair, he blows his final breath into the air and allows himself to fall over the cliff, ending his life. During the funeral procession, Maggie notices her daughter rejecting Sandrino's attempt to console her. Sensing their involvement in her son's untimely passing, she glares at the couple. At the university, Parthenope requests Devoto to supervise her thesis. Disappointed, he rips her first submission. When he inquires about its topic, she tearfully explains that she wants to cover the anthropological causes of suicide due to her brother's loss. Moved by his students' grief, the stern professor consents to becoming her supervisor, as long as they promise not to judge each other. He also suggests a different thesis topic, the cultural boundaries of miracles. At the Dango home, Parthenope listens to her mother fondly recall how she and her husband conceived Raimondo on their wedding night. Suddenly, Maggie's voice hardens as she blames her daughter for her son's demise, leaving Parthenope in shock. In 1974, the college student continues to mourn her brother and tries to find happiness. She visits Flora Malva, a former theater actress who wants to help her become a star. She soon notices that the acting coach always hides her appearance. Thankfully, the butler satisfies her curiosity, revealing that a botched cosmetic surgery left Flora disfigured. Parthenope secretly follows her after dinner, hoping to catch a glimpse of her face. She gets caught snooping around, but to her surprise, is invited into Flora's bath. There, her mentor begs to be kissed, as she hasn't felt one in 20 years since her husband passed away. The aspiring actress silently agrees. She joins the man for a thrilling bike ride across the city and is initially fascinated by all the attention he receives in the slums. However, as Parthenope walks past the residence, cramped homes and poor living conditions, she gradually realizes the harsh reality of poverty. That night, she witnesses an arranged union between the Kriskas and Kazimierz, two of the city's most powerful clans. A couple representing both sides shares an intimate moment in front of everyone to signify their families. Reconciliation. Despite her unease, Parthenope tenderly looks into the woman's eyes, providing her with solace amidst the shame of being watched. As fireworks erupt in the sky to welcome the new year, she learns that loud noises make Roberto nervous, so she gently makes love to him by the beach, briefly touching the waters where she was born. Her relationship with the Italian mobster continues throughout 1975. However, whenever he asks what's on her mind, she remains guarded and refuses to disclose her innermost thoughts. Parthenope soon earns an anthropology degree with honors and receives a recommendation to publish her work. While everyone else has family to congratulate them, no one attends her graduation. Devoto notices her sadness and calls her attention to distract her. In the hallway, he reproaches her for finishing her studies late, and she explains that she had tried to pursue an acting career. She humorously asks her professor if he's going to rip her thesis like before, but instead, he commends her dissertation, believing that with further research, it could be published. The news thrills Parthenope as she wants to teach anthropology. Devoto warns her that she will only end up like him, but she doesn't mind. So the man prompts her to return in May. Weeks later, she realizes she's pregnant with Roberto's child. However, upon seeing that her father is unfit to care for the baby, she decides to have it taken care of by a physician. As Parthenope anxiously awaits the procedure, the nurse tells her to stay calm and assures her it won't take long. Inside the clinic, the doctor instructs her to remove her clothing in preparation for the treatment. Sandrino visits Parthenope in Naples and tells her he moved to Milan because he felt guilty about his friend's death. He believes they are both responsible for Raimondo's passing, but Parthenope blames only him. She says he distracted her with his love that night. Her harsh words make Sandrino wonder if she has ever truly loved anyone. Parthenope admits he was her first love, but says it was just a part of their youth. She tells him he will find another woman to marry. When Sandrino says goodbye, she kisses him, but he does not kiss her back. Later, Devoto asks Parthenope to help him evaluate students. She does not feel ready, but follows him to the auditorium because she has no choice. During the admissions process, she gives a pregnant woman a passing grade, even though she failed the test. Her colleagues do not approve. Later, she finds out that Devoto's wife left him for another man. When she asks about his son, whom he has devoted his life to, he avoids the question. Instead, he asks how her brother died. Shocked, Parthenope admits that she and Raimondo gave in to temptation. When Devoto assumes that her father became distant after losing his son, she realizes he is right. Then, Devoto asks if she wants a hug, and Parthenope immediately hugs him. 7 years later, in 1982, Devoto tells Parthenope he has something important to say. She also has news. At his home, she happily shares that she will write about the miracle of St. Januarius for a journal. Devoto then tells her he is retiring from teaching. Since he sees himself in her, he suggests that she teach at Trento University for a few years, and later take over the anthropology department in Naples. During her meeting with Tyrone, he talks about the pressure of performing the miracle. He says people expect him to succeed every year, and if he fails, he is blamed. At the Mass, he tilts the sacred blood back and forth. Suddenly, a woman starts bleeding and screams, interrupting the event. Later, Tyrone tells Parthenope that some patrons distracted him, so he could not complete the miracle. He must wait until next year. The bishop then tells her to let go of her sadness in the church. He says it is the only place where she can give in to temptation without holding back. Parthenope laughs, asking why she would want to cry. Tyrone then shares a secret she has only told Devoto. She ran away from motherhood. Later, she attends a party at her old home and looks seductively at the priest, catching his attention. That evening, as women surround him, he talks about his wise mother. His words remind Parthenope of Raimondo, who also knew everything and died young. Tyrone says God wanted to make people happy by giving them childhood, but he believes God got distracted and gave in to temptation, making the simple and pure world of childhood disappear. The next day, the bishop asks Parthenope to wear a jeweled garment in the bedroom. She asks if he wants to know what she is thinking, but he says he already knows. She gives herself to the priest and to temptation. Afterward, she asks if he really understands her deepest thoughts. Tyrone tells her she always thinks about time passing and the struggles of life. Parthenope gives him a sad smile and starts crying. At Devoto's house, he tells her he is finally retiring and expects her to take his position. He introduces her to Stefan, his son, who happily greets her. Devoto explains that Stefan's body is mostly water and salt. Parthenope touches his round belly and smiles when he giggles like a child. Devoto rests his head on Stefan's arm and says goodbye to Parthenope. As she leaves, he watches her walk away. Many years later, Parthenope retires after 40 years of teaching at Trento University. Her students ask if the man in her photo was a past boyfriend, but she avoids the question. The young women ask more about her personal life. She jokes that she fell in love with the bacon in the north, which is why she stayed in Trento instead of returning to Naples. She also says no one ever proposed to her, and that she never had children because she never knew what she truly wanted. When the students ask what she will do after retiring, she fidgets nervously and has no answer. Outside her office, students and teachers celebrate her retirement with a party. She bows to the crowd, just like a theater actress after a performance. Parthenope returns to Naples and remembers the bittersweet moments she shared with Sandrino and Raimondo. She thinks about how they missed a perfect summer because they were unhappy. She realizes that, like her hometown, she was both sad and carefree, determined yet slow-paced. Standing by the rails in Capri, where her brother died, she remembers being there years ago before everything changed. She realizes she was lonely in her youth, and that all she ever wanted was love to help her survive, even if she knew it would not last. And that's how our story ends. What did you think about the ending? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown.